Hello everyone, I'm Joshua Gillespie.
And I'm Sid.
Everything is back to normal. Also, August is coming to an end, which means it's time for the last episode of the Summer of Disney.
So, Josh, where are we going for this glorious event? You said we were headed back to the theme parks?
Well, Sid, we're headed to the land of the rising sun.
Where is the land of the rising sun?
Well, I don't know. I don't wake up that early. Anyway, we're traveling to Japan with Mickey no Tokyo Disneyland Daibōken.
Excuse me?
It actually translates out to Mickey's Great Adventure in Tokyo Disneyland. It was an exclusive for the Super Famicom released in 1994.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
When it comes to Japan exclusive Nintendo games, you either have a great game like Super Back to the Future 2 or a mess of a game like the Transformers Famicom game. But this is a game based on Mickey Mouse, so why wouldn't it be released overseas? Before we get to the story, I'd just like to point out that I don't have a Super Famicom. I'm playing this game on a slightly modified Super Nintendo. Can you read Japanese?
Oh yeah, totally.
Guess I'll be translating this by hand.
Which means he'll be using Google Translate.
Mickey Mouse has taken a trip to Tokyo Disneyland, obviously. But when he arrives, he finds out from Minnie that his friends have been kidnapped and the park has been hijacked by none other than Pete.
Now the friends you rescue are Donald and Daisy Duck, Pluto, Goofy, Scrooge McDuck, and...
Seriously? Who is that?
Did Scrooge McDuck ever have a girlfriend?
I don't know. Guess we'll just label her as Random Female Duck.
If any of you know who she is, please leave it in the comments below. We'd really like to figure this out.
Armed with nothing but a combo water helium backpack and some balloons, Mickey must trek through the different sections of the park to rescue his friends, held captive in some of the park's most iconic attractions, and stop Pete. For a storyline, this might seem basic, but the story isn't what makes this game unique. Again, just like almost every other 16-bit Disney game,
Fun fact, this game isn't technically a 16-bit game. It's a 12-bit.
Interesting. Anyway, it's a platformer, but this one is special in two ways. The player controls Mickey and his balloon backpack machine that can use water or gas. This is one of the things that makes this game special. Water and gas deal the same amount of damage to enemies, but they work in different ways. Water can be used as a trampoline. You can use it to cross ice and air obstacles. You can also use it to break bricks and blocks that hold treasure. And of course you can use it as a weapon to throw forward. The gas can also be used as a weapon. You can also use it to cross pits or any kind of obstacles in your path. But this can lead to some problems, which I'll talk about later. The earlier you let go of the gas, the more boost you get. Or you can just drop down if you don't move in any given direction, but you can also fly in any given direction. The gas can only be fired upwards. The more you charge, the more straight the balloon will travel. The second thing that makes this game special is that you can place the water balloons down on switches to solve puzzles. So, it's a hybrid game, a puzzle platformer, and trust me, some of these puzzles can be tricky. So you have 6 worlds to go through, each with 3 levels and then a boss, but occasionally you fight a mini-boss. The worlds are all based on attractions at Tokyo Disneyland, most of which are also at the other Disney parks, and they're all faithful representations. You have Pirates of the Caribbean, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Splash Mountain, the Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, and finally the Fantasyland Castle Mystery Tour, which is an exclusive to Tokyo. Now, does some of this sound familiar?
Yeah, it sounds like that Adventures in the Magic Kingdom.
Exactly. A lot of people consider this to be like the spiritual successor to Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. I'll tell you one thing though, they certainly kept the difficulty.
Uh-oh. Here we go again.
It seems like I say this for every Disney game I've reviewed, but this is an extremely tough game. There are a lot of pits you can fall in, and it's a very trial and error game. And it requires some very good timing skills. The only part that felt easy were the boss fights with Pete. Often he will just leave his hit spot open, and you can land multiple attacks. But even with that, this might be the most difficult game I've played. But it's also the most forgiving. Sure, after you lose a life, you go back to the beginning of the level, but even after you get a game over, they keep you on the same level. And you have unlimited continues. And it has a very simple password system. The difficulty options determine how many hits you can take, and they also modify some of the levels to be a little bit more difficult. The only thing I really fault is that they don't give you any instructions for some of the puzzles. So like this one in Big Thunder Mountain, I would have never guessed to put down the water balloons.
So, we're gonna jump a little bit ahead right now. Because this game doesn't have any cheats outside of the password system, we're just gonna give you guys some tips.
It's a zippity-doo-dah tip for today.
Tip number 1. If you see a treasure chest, always have a water balloon prepared. You never know when it'll turn out to be an enemy in disguise.
Tip number 2. When you see fire like this, if you stand here long enough, it'll burn a hole and you can get the items. But be careful. In this spot, it can cause you to fall and get hurt.
Tip number 3. Don't be dependent on the gas balloon. Sometimes it can help, sometimes you'll fall to your death.
Tip number 4. The magic mirror isn't just a set piece. You can attack him and you'll get a random rotation item.
Tip number 5. If you're stuck in the air with the balloon, more than likely there's a platform below you.
And tip number 6. Just take it easy. You don't have a time limit. There's no need to rush because if you do, you'll just die over and over and over and over. And don't let things frustrate you. Remember, you have unlimited continues. For a game released in the middle of the Super Nintendo life cycle, the graphics are good. Mickey isn't as detailed as he is in other games, but the game overall is very colorful and nice to look at. All of the worlds do a fantastic job representing the attractions, and there is a lot of attention to detail. Even something so small like Mickey smiling and screaming before he goes down the drop at Splash Mountain. And the music. Like Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, it isn't the songs from the rides, but they sound much closer to the actual thing.
Something that I find interesting is that the only things actually in Japanese are the title screen and the names of the worlds and the cutscene text. Everything else, for the most part, is in English.
The only major problem I have with the presentation is that this game suffers from severe slowdown, and it happens very often, especially during this last Splash Mountain level. But if you don't mind that, then this is a very nice looking game. So overall, what do I think of the Japan exclusive Mickey no Tokyo Disneyland Daibōken? While the story is nothing special, that doesn't stop this from being a really enjoyable experience. The different balloons mechanic is fun to play with. Solving puzzles, searching the levels for hidden treasures, Yes, it is difficult, but it also helps you along the way. The graphics are nice. You travel through the levels of the world similar to how the actual rides are structured. The boss battles at the end of the world are unique and require some good timing, but can be easy to figure out. I only have one question regarding this game, and that is, why wasn't this released outside of Japan? Listen, I know that this is Tokyo Disneyland, but let me explain my reasons. The game already has a lot of it in English. It wouldn't be that hard to translate. Most of the worlds are based on attractions that exist in Disney World. With the Castle Mystery Tour, it could have just been called Cinderella's Castle, and nobody would have noticed because it's already been hijacked and overtaken by Pete. The map layout could have easily been altered to represent Magic Kingdom, and it's the only 16-bit era game based on the Disney theme parks. Why am I talking about this so much when it's been 19 years? Well, when I was a kid, this was the game of my dreams. A platforming game where you could explore Disney World? I would have loved that. So when I got it off of eBay, I was so excited, and even happier when I found out how good it is. What I'm trying to say is, this is my favorite Disney game. I know. Listen. I got this game for $17 on eBay. If you have a Super Famicom or a modified Super Nintendo, do yourself a favor and go out and get this game. I cannot recommend it enough. Regardless if you've been to the parks or not, this is just a great game overall, and it's a perfect way to end the summer of Disney.
Wait, is this really the end?
Yes, Sid. I already told you that.
But Josh, there's so much more we can do. There's so many other games. We could go to the modern systems. We could go to this. There's so much
Sid,
more.
we have to move on.
Oh, alright. Well, how are we gonna end this?
The only way we end anything on JG Reviews. Come on, everybody!
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My oh my, what a wonderful day. Summer of Disney is ending today. The parody songs are going away. It'll be back again next year. And what does the future bring? Lots of laughs and bigger things. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Wonderful feeling, wonderful day. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine headed our way. A brand new chapter starting today, where we both learned a powerful lesson. We learned that in the end, nothing can replace your friends. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Wonderful feeling this way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Oh yeah! It's a time for celebrating today. Oh yeah! Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Gathered together this wonderful day. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. As the years go by,